Imagine this. You are just an ordinary working stiff coming home after a brutal shift at the factory, wanting nothing more than to escape the weight of the outside world. And in moments like this, games are what help you. Some people run around with an assault rifle and blast anything that moves, while others rack their brains in MOBAs, dive into great stories. In today's video, we are talking about people who go from one reality to another. Of course, I'm talking about visual novels. What are they, and what's their deal? A novella is a short narrative genre similar in length to a short story. It's known for its fast-paced plot, unexpected ending, and lack of clear authorial stance. To put in simpler terms, a visual novel is any game where the player is a key figure. Whether it's Everlasting Summer or Danganronpa, you alone choose the story's path. And let's not forget how simple these games are in general. Usually, it's just a set of sprites for the main characters, a background, and some effects. Throw a text box into that mess and voila! Your visual novel is ready. Getting to the point of today's video, we are going to break down a masterpiece that, back in its day, made me rethink some of my life values, accept that manga is indeed literature, and realize that friendship is a miracle. Doki Doki Literature Club, a project from the greatest man of all time, Dan Salvato. Just an ordinary enthusiast from planet Earth, he put together a team of only a few tiny dudes and managed to create a product that shattered the typical perception of a visual novel and horror games. Using the stereotypical template of dating sims, he twisted his story into something absolutely insane. Piles of save files, game data itself, and of course, jump scares. That and many more, my friend, is what you and I are going to explore. Let's get started. On September 22nd of the legendary year 2017, a new representative of the visual novel genre saw the light of day. The Steam page says it's just a regular dating sim. Wait. What? Psychological horror? No way, said half the internet, and then downloaded it anyway. Right at launch, we are greeted by a disclaimer. It warns us right away that this is a serious author-driven horror, not just giggles and waifus. Of course, we skip it, because we're not scared, and jump straight into the game. Let's quickly run through the key characters of our story. They're staring right at us, by the way. Sayori, Monika, Yuri, and of course, the icon of the whole game, Natsuki. Pick your favorite girl, and let's go play. After choosing our in-game name, the gameplay begins immediately. The plot is, I'll say it again, dead simple. We are your average anime hikikomori who reads manga and watches anime 24/7. On another gloomy day of our life, we head to school as usual with our childhood friend, Sayori. As a character, she's easy to describe. Sayori is spacey, kind, caring, blah blah blah. Let me make this clear right now. This whole game is built on these tropes. Here's the mean one, who's actually a sweet, shy girl with a touching backstory. Here's the quiet girl who reads books. And here is the gold in the rough. She plays piano like a machine gun, gets straight A's, does sports. In short, who else but her? Back to the plot. After class, our hero is met again by his friend, who goes on about how cool it is to join clubs these days, to socialize and stop procrastinating. Our anime hiki isn't interested, but she bargains. Come check out my club, and I'll feed you cupcakes. We don't really have a choice, so we pack up and go to her club. There we meet the other three beauties, learn a bit about each one, and eat cupcakes. Now in our arsenal, Monika, club president and an old acquaintance of the protagonist, shy Yuri, and 60 kilos of aggression, Natsuki. By the end of the day, our poor, reluctant hero agrees to join the club, which makes every member super happy. Our hero goes home and meets a new game mechanic. Since we are now in the literature club, we have to write poems. Depending on which words we choose, the story develops. If you want to go for Natsuki, pick all the cute, sweet, edible stuff. If you want Yuri, pick dark, gloomy, and dull words. If you want Monika or Sayori, tough luck because they don't have full story arcs. Even though Sayori at least has some extra cutscenes, Monika is burdened with her own content. After finishing our poem, we start the next day. At the beginning of each day, we have to show our masterpiece to each club member, interpret their scribbles, and give a final verdict. And through those scribbles, you can already see some early red flags. Like this one, she's beaten by her dad. And this one, she has an intense attraction to knives. I'd even say a direct attraction. Worth noting, if you're going for Natsuki, like I did, you should show your poem to her first. Makes sense, but it is what it is. On day 2, you interact with the character you chose through your poem's word selection. In our case, the hero goes to read manga with Natsuki. After that, a conflict brews between Yuri and Natsuki, where we can either defend one of them or bail out by asking Sayori for help. Monika interrupts the fun, gathers everyone in the center of the room, and announces that their school is holding a club festival, a perfect chance to promote their club. The girls hesitate, but when the protagonist insists that they should join, everyone quickly agrees. At the end of the day, our hero and our childhood friend have a chat. Would we go home with Natsuki if she asked? Back home, we write poems and move to day 3. After reading some books, we show each other our poems again, and then discuss who's doing what for the festival. Turns out Natsuki can bake cupcakes because she can cook, Yuri can handle decorations because she's good with knives, and our hero can't do anything, so he gets sent to help one of the girls. We pick Natsuki and head home. The next day, Natsuki comes over and we start cooking. And I say cooking lightly because according to the plot, they tickle each other, the hero licks cream off her fingers, and in short, they have a great time together. At the end of the day, when everything's ready, we visit our childhood friend and learn about her apathy and depression, because the love of her life is hanging out with some pink-haired shrimp. At the end of the dialogue, Sugarly faces a choice: either confess his love to his childhood friend, or promise to be her best friend forever. That choice, by the way, doesn't affect the plot. Sorry, Sayori. Festival day arrives, and we see no one except Monika. Worried by recent events, we race to Sayori's house to check on her. Sugarly assumes she stayed up all night on the computer, went to bed late, and overslept. He knocks, gets no answer, and decides the only option is to go inside. And there... Uh-oh. Jerry. We hear the hero's monologue, we'll come back to it, and the game ends. Or so it seems. After a brief reset, the game restarts, but instead of the usual screen, we see a glitchy Sayori. From this point on, the story goes into absurdity, and the game starts feeding you jump scares. The narrative gets small changes. Our childhood friend never existed, and it was Monika's doing that the hero ended up at the club. The plot revolves around the same situations, but the heroines reveal themselves in the worst possible light. Instead of sweet scenes of reading manga and books, we hear the girls trash-talking each other. Basically, the whole second half of the game runs on the conflict between Natsuki and Yuri. Both say terrible things about each other, while Monika cheerfully pretends to be in control. At the last moment, due to Yuri's behavior, we end up alone with her. Unable to contain her emotions, she asks the hero to go out with her. Again, our choice doesn't change anything. Thanks to script magic, we spend the entire weekend before the festival with Yuri's corpse. Then Natsuki arrives with cupcakes, sees a depressed Yuri, and pukes on the floor. Monika appears and fully deletes the other girls' files. Yes, the game had broken the fourth wall before, but now it directly addresses the player. Then we're shown a few cards explaining various moments in the game, after which Monika restarts it. Now it's just us and her. Alone together, she shares how devastated she was when the hero's attention always went to other girls, while she, as she saw it, was the best of them all. Let's pause here and break down what's really going on. Monika, unlike the other girls, is fully aware that she's in a game and that everything around her is not real. That canon, by the way, was broken with the release of Plus, but more on that later. Not getting the player's attention, she tries everything to reach you by hacking into the game's code. The first problem was Sayori, who was already in love with the hero before joining the club. By cranking up her depression, Monika forced her to become a cherry, something that wasn't supposed to happen. With Yuri, she poured fuel on her obsession, but again, the result should have been different. To put it bluntly, Monika's plan was to make the hero disgusted by the other girls, which ultimately led to their deaths. Realizing she went too far, she decides to reach out directly, explaining to us, the player, that all along, the hero wasn't just some in-game character. It was you. Try to imagine how lonely it is to be in a world where nothing is real, where everything around you is just an illusion, just code, a parody of reality. And what a joy it was to realize that something real had appeared in that world, namely you. The rest of the conversation with Monika trails off into nothing. For a long time, she just stares at you, occasionally asking a question. Back in the day, it was even trend to stream for 10+ hours just staring at Monika. But the story doesn't end there. As we remember, Monika could easily delete the other girls' files, wiping their influence from the plot. And we can do the same. Open the game's folder and delete her save file. As soon as that folder disappears from the game files, the story continues. Monika says some unpleasant things to the player and then disappears forever. At least, that's what she says. After a while, if we don't close the game, she comes back, repentant. She realizes one simple thing. What was just code and sprites to us was completely real to her. The friends she loved and cherished, the food whose tastes she could feel, the joy she felt seeing her friends. Understanding her mistake, Monika restores her friends' files, which, it turns out, were just hidden, not deleted. Then the game reboots for a third time, now bug-free. Everything returns, except Monika, the heroine who gave up her role in the story. The day goes by without changes, except now Sayori is the Literature Club president. When the day ends, the screen goes to black, and we see Sayori addressing the player. She, too, realizes it's all a game, and starts gloating over Monika. She thanks us for everything, for deleting Monika. Now she gets to be alone with us. But then, plot twist, Monika appears, deleting Sayori's files and the rest of the game. This time, for good. All we can do is watch the sprites vanish while Monika's piano song plays in the background, a song she wrote for us. The last thing we see before the game crashes, a letter from Monika, thanking us for the time we spent together. Is that it? You ask. Well, yes, but what if I told you that there's a true ending, an ending where the author himself becomes part of the story? Interested? Then listen up. After our first day, create a save file right at the moment we have to write a poem. As I said, this chooses the branch of the story. To unlock the true ending, you need to play through the game for each of the girls, Yuri, Natsuki, and Sayori. Once you've completed all 3 days for one girl before the festival, reload your save from the end of day 1 and repeat. 3 times in total, 1 for each girl. After that, just follow the linear story. Further choices won't affect the true ending. Once again, delete Monika and continue the plot without her. At the end of the day, Sayori will speak to us again. This time, she doesn't thank us for deleting Monika, she thanks us for spending time with each of her friends. No one deletes anyone this time. Instead, everything is much sweeter and calmer. After thanking you, Sayori asks you to visit them more often, and then disappears. The credits roll. This time, the sprite files aren't deleted. Instead, we unlock all the bonus content, hard-earned by restarting saves. At the end of the credits, 3 final scripts run, fully deleting the entire game. Instead of Monika's message, we see a letter from the author himself, Dan Salvato. It's a thank you note to you for reaching the true ending. In it, he shares his feelings about the game industry and his project. I also don't want to overlook the fact that in 2021, a remake, Doki Doki Plus, was released. Let's clarify one thing. In the original game, players had to mess with the files themselves. You could find Easter eggs and clues there. But it seems many couldn't handle the Windows File Explorer, so Salvato made a game within a game. Roughly speaking, when you boot up Doki Doki Plus, you first see a virtual desktop. And from there, you launch the actual game. And there you can also browse files, unlockable content, and messages from the authors. Plus, the game was officially translated into many languages. Before Plus, players had to manually install translations. As a big bonus, there are 6 additional side stories, which, as I mentioned earlier, break canon. They show the backstory of each girl, which I won't spoil, because just one of those stories is as long as the whole original game. There's also a music library, where you can listen to the in-game soundtrack. So, to wrap things up, let's try to find the message of the game, or some kind of moral in all of this. Dan, speaking directly to us, speaks about his love for games in general, about all the emotions the game gives us by breaking the usual patterns of real-time experiences. But despite that emotional storm, you also have to understand the other side of that golden coin. Games are different from life. In games, we can make as many mistakes as we want. We can explore completely unfamiliar worlds, befriend characters with unusual personalities, and enjoy every moment. In life, though, sorry, that doesn't work. You can't reload a save file in real life. You can't mess around without consequences or experiment endlessly. Every one of us should be more open to our own feelings. There's only one life, so you need to value it to the fullest. Open yourself up to new emotions and keep moving forward. Right now, if you're still hesitating to confess to that certain someone, close this video and honestly tell them everything you think about them. Don't hide your emotions. Be open to support and help. Be open to the people you love. We are all different and we all have our own issues. If we bottle up everything that feels small, we'll never know what happiness is. That is your homework, from me. To sum it up, I really hope that at least some people who watched this video were able to either rethink something or feel the same nostalgia that I did. Thanks everyone for watching. See ya!